Have you played RPG games?
Yes.
And you want something new out of them? Absolutely. Then I welcome you to Final Fallacy. My name is Elias and I am from Elokas Creative. We are an indie studio from Finland that will make your head explode. Join us in our adventure to make video games by subscribing the channel, liking the videos, also sharing the videos, and most of all, down in description there is a playlist. Press it and you'll see every single devlog that we have ever made. Welcome to first official devlog of Final Fallacy, the game. A game that has been a year in production and a few months added to that. What is Final Fallacy, you may ask? Well, it is a game that is an open world RPG experience where you take the role of a three-party group to be in a world that is mixed with medieval fantasy and Eastern mysticism indeed. In this game, you are a group of heroes that come to a kingdom that is crumbling down. There's a great betrayal happening, and you take part in the center stage. Will you save the kingdom or be the one to take it apart? Indeed. Why is it an open world? Well, the world is quite massive. In future devlogs, I'm going to be showing you the world map and some locations and how we have built the game. It's not a complete open world in a sense that, you can just because of the processing problems, I actually tried to make it like completely open world. But because of our engine limitations, of course, the world you can go to every place, but there are going to be transitions between zones. However, the world is traversable, you can go anywhere, and it's not just some certain key location, no, not indeed. The game is procedurally generated, the nature environments. Of course, cities, key locations are handcrafted, but many things you see in the world, forests and such, they grow the natural ways, and you are able to cut down every tree, you're able to hunt down every animal, you're able to befriend or be a foe to every NPC character you ever interact with. That is the game's main thing. Freedom to approach it from many angles. That is what I personally like about when it comes to Dungeons and Dragons games. Indeed, Dungeons and Dragons, in case you don't know, is this tabletop RPG where the gameplay happens with dices, some papers, and people's imaginations. Indeed, people describe what is happening on the screen and then action follows. And many video games have tried to emulate that fact but have not been able to do so because, of course, real life is complex. But I would argue that many games won't put emphasis on freedom, because if you want to build a system that is, you can approach it from many angles, you have to make things connect to each other. And what I mean by this, well, let's imagine you start a fire in middle of forest, and that forest burns, and well, of course, the nearby villagers are going to be very angry, of course, and the nature is going to go, of course, be ruined a little bit. That is the link between these things. And when villagers are going to be angry to you, you cannot really go to that village anymore without being harassed like that. And that is a small connection that not many games do, especially for villagers and things that are not in the center stage. But Final Fallacy, especially how I've developed it, it is basically a very much connected game in many of its aspects. Trade and such, and creatures, all of the things that you can see in the game, and PCs, how they interact and such, they are not set in stone in all ways. Of course, there are certain key things that can happen, but those have conditions. Not all things that are in the game can be experienced in one playthrough. I have designed the whole game in that fashion. Here is our first update from our website elokas.com, which I recommend to check out. Elokas is of course our developer group. I'm of course the head of Elokas, and there's some other people that work on Elokas projects as well. This is one of the Elokas projects we are working. And in this post you can read about how we have been doing visual side of things. We are using an engine which is really limited when it comes to things that you can do with it, and I've put this engine to the test. I have done things that not many developers with RPG Maker engine usually do. And yes, you're going to be seeing that, and I hope you're going to be amazed of what we have done with it, because it's not your regular RPG in many ways. Not all RPG Maker games are open world, they don't have things like discussion system and PC AI, which basically means that these creatures, these animals, all these people in the places, they think about you, they notice you, they calculate on you, they even sometimes lie to you and such, depending on what sort of character you are. There's a lot of systems in there, which I'm hoping to share you here on this channel when we go forward. Of course, because of that, like the video, share the video, and all these sort of things. We would really appreciate any help we get from this position. And also, when we go down in the post, of course we're going to be posting more GIFs on here right now from this point on. You can see that there's some things that we are going to be working on. One of the things that you cannot see from the picture, there's some slight voice acting, not direct English voice acting, because that would take a ton of space, and we are an indie game and we cannot take too much of like 50 gigabytes of space or something like that. No. So the thing is that there's going to be voice acting, expressions of sort of fashion. You can see the personality from the people's way of how they speak, but you can't really understand their speech, because their speech is something not English, something in between, to give out the character but not the meaning. You have to read still, but of course it is a much nicer experience when you have something you can also listen to, because we humans, we listen many things when we listen dialogue, indeed. So more of these sort of gifts are going to be taking place, and also I'm currently starting to put some scenes together that I've already written out how they're going to be working. I have all the systems in ready, how camera moves, how all of the characters interact, and how battles work and these sort of things. And having these was essential to really start putting the game forward, and we used 1.5 years to just do that. Now putting the game world together, putting all the assets together, that is what we do in the later stage. So this is a big project. And when we get our demo out, I hope to get some of you to test it out. We're currently actually looking to get some testers. One of the ways to get to be our tester is to sign to our newsletter. There's no other way to really get to become our tester, because that's the way we can actually keep contact to you. Sign to our newsletter, put your email in there, and we're going to be sending, of course, updates on what the game is about and such. But once the whole demo thing comes out, you're able to get the download link from that place only. So do sign in there. Many people have shared interest that they want to actually be testing the game, which I'm very happy for. Of course, the game is something that I think not many RPGs really they don't want to go to, because of course it is a huge challenge. I tell you, it has been a very difficult challenge. Just a few weeks we had big challenges on the performance. For some unexplained reason, at least back then, we had that the whole game world froze and the frames started dropping, and it was because of the size of our maps. We were already in the past we were thinking of actually making the game environments much bigger, but we had to put the size a little bit down. Of course, the world is still as big as it is, but we needed to cut the size in order to run the whole thing, because this game is already in the limits of what RPG Maker can do in many more ways than one, I tell you. And especially, spawning objects that all are interactable. Everything you see, the flowers and everything, you can interact with them. Also, you can swim in the water, you can climb on the trees, and this sort of, like, all of these small things. all of these small things. And I tell you, it's going to be a huge hustle to put them all together, but I'm hoping to have you following the process, and we're going to be seeing you in the next videos of Final Fallacy. Again, like the video if you enjoyed this progress report, share the video if you enjoyed this progress report and want to get other people excited as well, because this is an exciting game. Also, if you want to get news of Final Fallacy, follow the page. Follow Final Fallacy's development right now, so you can get all the news to your subscription list or whatever. Also, press the bell icon in order to get those updates. We're gonna be next time talking about some other news. I'm thinking, I'm still thinking which is that going to be. Probably battles, but you're gonna be seeing more GIFs, animated stuff from that, how it's going to work. So now, I tell you all the best. I wish you a good luck, and I wish you that you follow the progress of Final Fallacy.